Thank you so much, Marco, for having me. And it's such a pleasure to be back here in Switzerland because in 2008, my co-founder and I, Tao, who's here on the left-hand side of this slide, had a plan to travel to Beijing. And I made a colossal mistake. I booked my ticket to go one day early, and I was completely lost in the city. And on the other hand, Tao, who's the native, arrived one day later and became my guide and really helped me out of a miserable situation where I wanted to see and explore the city, and I couldn't because there was no service such as GetYourGuide. And what we did was, we built the first service for tour companies and experience companies and attractions to list online and to sell their services. And what we found out is that this is a massive market. Overall, next year, tourists around the world will spend $320 billion. Just for reference, the flight market globally is just $500 billion. So this is one of the very, very big markets globally. And at home, they spend even more. It's a 1.4 trillion market at home is anything that you do on the weekend. And that is offered by 850,000 local suppliers, experience creators, people who are thinking about what tourists and what locals might want to do in their free time. And the interesting thing is, if you look at, how's this market actually composed, you will find that on average, these local businesses employ less than 5 people. So this is a market with lots of smaller entrepreneurs, mid-sized and small businesses, not just the Disney Worlds, not just the Universal Studios, or like the Madame Tussauds in London. It's really a lot of small people who were looking to sell online. And on average, they have less than 5,000 guests a year, so very small number of guests. And what's even more interesting, only 29% of the experiences are digitized, even today after the pandemic. And that's truly the opportunity that we're seeing now with GetYourGuide, because what we see is the opportunity to build a global brand for experiences. Marco earlier on alluded that we won the Pro7 Sat.1 prize, where we had, I think the first, it was like $2 or $3 million to invest in brand building and marketing. So I can assure you that number has grown substantially since. So now we are investing heavily, triple digit, million sums in brand marketing and building the global leader in the experiences category, because we believe that Amazon is the place where you should go to shop for retail items, Netflix is for entertainment, Airbnb is great if you look for home and accommodation, but GetYourGuide is the brand that you should have on your phone for experiences, and more people are seeing it exactly like this, given the traction that we've had, and I'm going to talk about that in just a minute. But before I get there, I just want to tell you, why has GetYourGuide as a business been so misunderstood in the early years? When people just saw us as the next marketplace for maybe buying some tickets for an interesting attraction somewhere. And I can tell you that at the core of the misunderstanding is this slide right here. It's very easy to read. What it basically says, the future of business in general is the experience economy. The experience economy is significantly bigger already today than physical goods, and it continues to trend in that direction. If you look over the last 20, 30, 40 years, every single year, people have purchased less physical goods, garden furniture, your next sofa, your next house renovation, while they have increased their spending on consumer discretionary such as travel. And we see that this trend is just at the very beginning and will continue. You could only see a small dip during COVID, which rebounded, as Marco just said beautifully, immediately. And GetYourGuide now is more than 3 times the size of pre-pandemic. If you look at our numbers here, you can even see that, compared to the rebound year of 2022, we are again 70 to 80% bigger. This year, we have sold 40 million tickets to consumers around the world just this year, and 120 million since our inception when we launched the website in 2010. And now I'll give you a little bit of an update on what are the types of experiences that we're dreaming about now. So what's the next leg for the company? What can we unlock now with the scale that we have? And I can tell you it's incredibly exciting, because given the scale and the resources that GetYourGuide has, we now have the opportunity to create new experiences that weren't there before, and we call them originals by GetYourGuide. The first one that we created was an original with the Vatican in Rome, and you can see consumers doing this original on this slide. That's where we offered customers to go to the Vatican in a small group with the clavigero who holds the key before opening hours. That's an experience that has tens of thousands on the wait list and millions of views on YouTube when we first launched it. The next one that we did was with our partners at McLaren. McLaren has a well-guarded secret, which is their factory where they build both the Formula One cars as well as their consumer cars, which is in Woking, just outside of London. And you cannot access this facility. In fact, this photo right here is right next to the workshop where they literally build the Formula One car. I've seen it. You're not allowed to take photos inside because it's competitive information. GetYourGuide customers are now allowed to go into the workshop and are allowed to go onto the production floor of McLaren. Every single time we upload tickets to this original, they are booked out within seconds, because the McLaren audience is so large and it's such a massive experience. But we also offer digital detox. So we have a unique cooperation with the Kyoto Tourism Board, when Original by GetYourGuide allows you to go into a refined monastery with Buddhist monks where you can relax and follow Buddhist tradition. Or most recently, we have launched very successfully a partnership with Bayern Munich, the leading German football club and leading global brand, where you can go into the mixed zone on game day. You can literally watch your favorite football players as they come onto the field, and then you can accompany them later to the press conference and have a full day with Bayern Munich. And even on top of that, that's an even more favorite original of mine, you can be in the training facility with the pros for one day and train like a pro. Again, an experience that is booked out in the second. So this gives you an idea of where we're headed, because we believe that the future of experiences is not just destinations, it is unique human passions. We no longer see that experience is just something that is an add-on to your journey that you book on top of your hotel or on top of your flight. It is the reason why you travel. Because at the end of the day, let's be honest, when you dream now around Christmas about what you're going to do next year, you're not dreaming of the business class flight somewhere. You're also not dreaming of the hotel room. You're dreaming of the experience. And that's why we believe the next leg of GetYourGuide is all around turning the pyramid upside down and putting the experience front and center and making that the core thing why you travel, and building out the itinerary around that and having a lot of unique content that is highly attractive to customers, while the hotel and the flight and everything else, that's just the commodity, that's the add-on. And that's why I believe ultimately GetYourGuide can become the biggest travel and experience company in the entire world over the next decade. And a final note, Marco, please allow me to say this. This is a little bon mot, to my old alma mater. As you might know, I graduated from the Swiss Institute of Technology. I registered GetYourGuide as a company here in Zurich. We still have a large engineering hub, and we still have our holding company here in Zurich. And in January, so just a couple of days away from now, our 15th birthday is going to come around. So it's already been more than a decade, 15 years. This was the original site. It showed Tao Tao, my co-founder, that I just described as the guide in Beijing, to the upper right-hand corner, being the first registered user. And now 15 years later, it's been a very wild journey, but I think we're just in the early innings of that journey, because experiences are what is worth traveling for, and it is going to be the future of our industry. So I couldn't be more excited to stand here today celebrating our 50th anniversary while also looking into a really incredible and remarkable future. Thank you so much, everyone, for your attention.